So we have an interview of Ranbir Kapoor from Deadline Hollywood as he was at the Red Sea Film Festival where he talked about Brahmastra, we talked about Animal Park and his other upcoming projects such as Ramayana. Let's hear what he had to say about it, maybe some updates. If you haven't seen the original video, I'll put the link to description below. You can check it out. There's a reaction to it. I'll be pausing in the middle talking, not a substitute to the original. So do note that. By the way, the channel membership is live. If you like the content a lot, want to support the channel, become a member. Enjoy videos early and some member only videos such as song reactions. To know more, click on the join button and let's check this out.
Hello, my name is Diana Loderhose, International Features Editor here at Deadline. I'm in our Red Sea studio with Ranbir Kapoor.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So let's talk about, well, you've had a hugely prolific career. What would you say has been the one film that has been very kind of like key for you in terms of changing your career and having the biggest impact on you?
It'll be interesting what he says because I think there are two sides who love that he did Animal and he became this biggest star which they always wanted him to be, and then there's people who hated his Animal and love of his Tamasha and Barfis and Jagga Jasoos and that kind of Ranbir which never did well at the box office. No one gave a damn about it, but yeah, they became cult afterwards.
I think I've done.
I wonder what he chooses.
Around 21 or 22 odd films in my 17-year career, and I think every.
Considering that feels less, but nowadays I think every hero, big hero, I'll consider him in that league. He is a kind of a superstar. For that, I think nowadays every hero is taking 2 years, 3 years to make one film. So it makes sense in 17 years, only 21. Like if you go back 2-3 decades, that if actor had worked for 17 years, he would have done 120 films,
Film has brought about some change. I always believe that failure has always changed me more than a successful film. So I would like to say my first film, Savaria, which was a big disaster at the box office. It was directed by one of the masters of Indian cinema, Mr. Sanjay Bansali. Didn't work at the box office. It was a very ridiculed film. But it kind of prepared me very early on about what this industry is like, what it's like to be an actor, the highs and lows. So I think it humbled me. I was humbled in my first film itself, so it kind of prepared me for the ride.
Yeah, that's a really good answer, actually. So I would like to ask you also about Animal Park, which is that in production at the moment, or?
The director's making another film right now. We should start that film 2027.
Oh, so it's a little bit.
That he knows a year. That's interesting. Considering like Sandeep Reddy takes his time, 2027. That means he's gonna shoot Spirit next year. 2025, so you can expect 2026 or 7 early release, and then they start Animal Park.
Right,
it's a bit away. Yeah.
Okay, because Animal, I mean, what a crazy film, right? Okay, I would love to know if you know anything, like if you've seen the script for the sequel yet, but your character, Vijay, how much more can he go through? He's
that was just
a revengeful character.
Yeah.
Heart transplant.
Everything.
Everything. It's wild.
But I think he just kind of flirted with what he really wants to do with the movie. He wants to make it over 3 parts. The second part is called Animal Park.
What will be the third title? Animal Kingdom? That will be interesting. Like we know the character survives in his like late time. We saw in the beginning of the film, right? So maybe he has idea what to take, go about it.
Sharing ideas from the first film itself, how he wants to take the story forward. It's very exciting because now I get to play 2 characters, the antagonist and the protagonist. So extremely exciting project, an extremely original director, and very excited to be part of it.
Do you mind explaining why you get to play 2 for people who haven't seen the first one? What happens?
Who haven't seen the first one, it's the antagonist gets a face. What's the right word? He becomes like a body double,
like plastic surgery,
like plastic surgery, and he starts looking like the protagonist, and that's where the story is going to take off in part 2.
Brahmastra?
Brahmastra.
I'm sorry. Okay. Of course I would pronounce that incorrectly. I apologize. Is a sequel. Okay. That was a part.
There are a lot of talks about that film because Ayan Mukherjee had to do that, but no, he went on to do War 2. And now there are reports that I think Dharma has backed down. I think that. And then Geo wants to buy it, but they want Ayan to prove his metal before investing more money into the project. So there are a lot of rumors came out. I don't know if they're true or not. But yeah, they've definitely, and I think that's good for him because if he had only did two films before Brahmastra, Brahmastra is such a big project, and they took 7 8 years to make it, and you could see the script wise, yes, it was very weak and gone kind of dated also. So it's good that he goes on make a big franchise kind of film, and let's see how he does that well, and then he can come back and start working again on where he wants to take Brahmastra, because they have already announced their three parts: part one Shiva, part two Dev, and part three I don't know what it will be. So that's gonna help it only if he does gets more experience before doing it. But I just hope it doesn't get shelled or something like that.
One. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about working on that.
Well, part two is of course, it's in the writing stage right now. Part one was called Shiva, part two is called Dev. We haven't really announced the cast yet. That's something very exciting.
I hope, because he's already, like, there were rumors who they will be, right? So people say it's be Ranbir himself, then Ranveer, then there were Yash and this, and a lot of rumors came out, and they didn't reveal at the end who it is, and that was good. You don't want to put a name and then what if it doesn't happen? So leave it like that, and when you're actually making it, that's the time you announce it. Now he's already doing Animal, where now Animal Park, where he'll be playing both two characters. So doing that again in Brahmastra, that he only plays Dev. So I think that's not going to work out. It will be better to have another Bollywood leading actor which plays his father, as well as they fight against each other. That'd be more cool instead of just having him fight against each other, which you're already getting it. So I just hope they make a right decision about this.
Also, it's directed by one of my closest friends, Ayan. I worked on two films with him before this. That's Wake Up Sid and Ye Jawani Hai Diwani and Brahmastra. So definitely was one of the first few films of that nature, especially for Indian cinema. We've explored and we've touched upon certain ideas, but it has potential to really grow more in the coming parts.
You worked with your now wife on
yes,
that, right?
Alia, yes.
And was that before, if you don't mind me asking?
We actually met this was the first film we did together, and we started dating during the film. We got married and we had a baby by the release of the film. So this whole kind of Brahmastra kind of shows us our journey together.
How lovely. Yeah. And so it must be quite a special.
Yeah, it is special. Yeah.
Will she be in the second?
Of course.
Okay, yeah. Fantastic. So is there anything else you can tell me? Because I know that you guys, compared to Hollywood, the volume of projects that you guys as actors work on is quite staggering. So I'd love to know, what can you tell us about that's kind of
well, currently I'm working on a film called Ramayana, which is India's greatest story. It's been produced by Namit Malhotra, somebody who owns DNEG, which is a LA studio and a studio in London. It's got artists and creators and different crew members from all around the world. It's made over two parts. It's the story of Lord Ram and Ravan, and it's India's greatest story. And to see it to this new generation with the kind of technology that we have, it's a very exciting and very gratifying opportunity for me as an actor. Especially to play the part of Lord Ram. And the other film I'm working on is a film called Love and War. It's again back to the first.
I forgot about that one. That's again gonna be really. See, it has him, Alia, and Vicky Kaushal, which I really admire him a lot. And they are coming back together after Sanju, where Vicky took the limelight a bit, if you say. But yeah, it'll be again Sanjila Bansali film. Very, very interesting. I think it's kind of a period 70s, 80s drama. So let's see how that pans out.
Filmmaker I worked with, Sanjila Bansali. I'm working on that film again with my wife Alia Bhatt, and another very fine actor called Vicky Kaushal, and another exciting film that I'm part of.
Great. So we had Amir Khan in here at the beginning of our studio, and I asked him a question I'm going to ask you, which is in terms of looking kind of at RRR, for example, and how that kind of broke out of Indian cinema, basically broke borders and had success at the Oscars, of course. I wonder what your kind of opinion is on Indian cinema and it's kind of what's happening with the movement of it now to kind of break out beyond Indian audiences.
Yeah, I think we all are really proud of what RRR did, and films like even what Lagan did 20 years back or more years. But I think it all comes down to originality. It's not about trying to cater to the West. It's about making a film about your culture, which is very deeply rooted in your value system, about the characters that you've grown up with or are part of your country. And I think RRR just celebrates that in the best way
Yeah,
possible. It's not really
totally agree. That's what it is. And I think it working just, opens the door and shows people that, you don't need to follow something or make something for them, for the West to make it. Like, I think South Korea has Korean, how media has gone out with K-pop and K-dramas and this and that. Like, that's what we, and they made it what they want. They are like, they didn't make it for the West audience. They made it for themselves really, really well, and then it just went out and everyone's now, are hooked to it, and that's what we also want.
a heavily inspired film from the West or any other country or any other culture. Yeah, so I think the dream has always been to take a film from your country, rooted in your culture, and then show it to the world.
Would you ever consider working on the other side of the pond in Hollywood? Is that something that
Well, of course, the opportunity whenever it arises would be very exciting for me, but I'm even more excited to take a film made by my people from my country and take it around the world.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you,
being
Diana.
here
Thank
today.
you.
Very well answered. That of course I don't think anyone would say no. I will not do Hollywood film if they are approached well. Of course, very good role, something interesting, not just what is like representation quota. It's not that. It's really a good character and something very very interesting. Of course, anyone would do. Also, money, good money. But just to go there and work in their films, I don't think like if you're just objective is act as an actor, I think there are few Indian actors who go work a lot there, and I think that's fine if they just want to act. But I think people like him who are superstars here. I think even Yash has talked about it. Like, I want to take our stories out, not do their stories and all. So that, and maybe him working in a Hollywood film doesn't work like that, but him working is spending his time and effort on his films made by his people and from the country going abroad, that will boost Indian cinema more than anything else. And I think that's what even Ranbir said. And good interview, got some insights about what's going on. Very very interesting projects coming up with him, and really, really looking forward to them. What are your thoughts about it? Let me know in the comments below, and see you next, and I will see you next time.